the terrible two Royal Rumble matches themselves. We'll get into that a little bit later. They're going to be obviously towards the end. Well, actually, that's one thing Shane will want to talk about is the actual way the matches went on and like how the order of them is probably another way to go about it. But yeah, we had some good things. We had some bad things, as we know. And yeah, look, I went into it. I don't know about you, but I went into it happy and excited, and I went out of it very disappointed.
Well, I went into it happy and excited. And mind you guys, this is the first time I've watched WWE, or well, wrestling, probably for about 10 years. And I was really, knowing that the podcast is on now and whatever else, I was really, really looking forward to a really, really good pay-per-view. And I think I can, say on both myself and Nick that it just disappointed a lot, which was unfortunate. But out of one match out of six was somewhat okay. But every other match after that was just horrible.
Pretty rough. Yeah. Well, we might as well get right into that, and that's the first match of the night. That's pretty much how we started. And we started with a bang.
I actually didn't mind. I'm a very traditionalist person. I like to see big title matches done at the end of the evening, not necessarily for the Royal Rumble, because I understand that the Royal Rumble is about the 30-man battle royal over the top rope. You get the drift, guys. You've heard the announcements before on how the match works and whatever else. But for me, Roman and Seth's match should have at least came before the 30-man battle royal. That's my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, that's certainly fair enough. The way it kind of went as well kind of would have led into what I wanted at WrestleMania, but that's not going to happen now. Obviously, we know that for a fact. The way the Royal Rumbles were, even though I do prefer the Royal Rumble main eventing, the Royal Rumble, the way and how bad the men's Rumble was, I probably would have been pretty happy with Roman and Seth main eventing. However, with the story the WWE is going for, I guess it made sense. But anyway, the match itself, we did have Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins opening the show. And Seth walked out to the Shield music. I don't know about you, that was probably the best part of the night.
Oh my God, that was probably my favorite moment. And I tell you what, before we get into any of that stuff, I do want to sort of bless Seth Rollins in a way, because you look at that. Obviously, he wore his old attire, as everyone's seen, but if you actually look at that attire itself, it's got all these clips and buckle parts and whatever else on it. Taking a bump on the back with all those clips and stuff, that definitely got to hurt, especially back when they first, when they were the Shield with Roman and the other guy.
Yeah,
I don't know if we're allowed to say his name or not, but
Moxley it is.
But yeah, but you look at how that thing is made, and I was cringing the whole time. Like every time Seth took a bump with that vest on, I'm like, oh God, that must have hurt. Oh Jesus. Like you try and put it's probably the equivalent of having a TV remote strapped to your back and then taking a bump on, hard ground or whatever.
For sure.
It would really hurt.
Yeah,
it would really hurt.
Really good just hearing that music back in general. Samantha's actually just come in here, Sammy Bosco, and mentioned in the chat, elite Shield music, and I have to agree. Yeah, that was the good days. So yeah, look, on a side note, as we've agreed, we both wanted to give Sammy a happy birthday here on the podcast.
Happy birthday,
Sammy Bosco. Welcome to the Cheap Pop. What a great birthday present.
Yeah,
hearing us rant about the Royal Rumble, because anyway, we'll get back into Seth and Roman. So Seth obviously dominated the match early. There was a pretty awesome kick out. I don't know if you remember it, but Seth hit the curb stomp. I actually thought the match was over. They'd done a really good job of selling that finish.
Yeah, that was a really, really good fake finish. And oh my God, the crowd was in that match 150%. It was amazing to watch. And again, this goes back to what we were talking about before. Obviously, it being, without a doubt, hands down, it was the best match of the night. It had to be the best match of the night. And I think the crowd's interaction with that match was probably the best interaction throughout the night as well. So with that, the Royal Rumble, obviously, the men's Royal Rumble, that is, didn't really have the same response as what the women's one was. But with Seth and Roman opening the show, like we all know their backstory, we know their history and whatever else, just the way that they were in it and they were just so invested. And oh my God, the story that they told
Yeah.
was just unbelievable. And I think you could say the same thing, Nick. It was just incredible to watch.
Oh, it absolutely was. I think the way it ended is kind of long-term storytelling, which WWE doesn't do enough. Which I'll get to in a moment. But yeah, the way it ended, I really liked. Everybody obviously knows why that happened, but nobody noticed the small detail. Oh, some people probably did, but I'll explain that in a minute. There was one cool part, which I thought was pretty awesome, and that was Seth Rollins' counter of the spear into the pedigree. When Roman went and tried to...
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Now, it's not very often we get a cool counter of the spear in that sort of sense, but the way that he did it, obviously he couldn't really have time to hook the arms or anything like the traditional pedigree would have been.
Yeah.
But just the way it was executed. And again, going back to the crowd, just the way their reaction of it. It was like that guy at WrestleMania 30 when Undertaker lost, unfortunately, with his defeated streak. My eyes lit up exactly like what like when that move happened. It was just incredible.
Yeah, no, it certainly was. It was a cool move. It's actually a throwback. They did it in their first or second encounter that they had many years ago now. So it was a pretty cool little counter. I think it was executed a little bit better this time though. I don't really remember. It was a while ago. So yeah, I thought that was a cool spot. Definitely one of those things. And then we obviously had the big finish, which I've seen some reports online. Some people are upset. I'm pretty happy. I don't know about everybody else. But I was pretty happy with the finish. We had Roman put Seth in the guillotine. He held on for a little bit too long, obviously. I think we all saw that coming after he put him in it, especially once he grabbed the rope. And yeah, so the match ended in disqualification. Personally, I'm happy about it. I don't know about you, but I thought the finish just made sense.
Okay, so this is where people are going to start hating me for this. I actually did not like the finish. The match was so intense and so personal and so many more things that I just can't really think of now. But it was a very cheap way for the match to finish in my eyes. Just a disqualification, really. Like, it could have ended, obviously a submission, probably not so much, but a pinfall would have made it more personal.
Yeah,
I guess. But I think a disqualification. But the way that Roman carried on after, I think that's what sort of made, in my eyes, the finish a little bit more better. He took it that inch further and got the steel chair, and he started, attacking Seth with that. But yeah, for me, the disqualification was just not good enough. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I can understand that too. It probably deserved a good finish, or at least a clean win, because of how good the match was. So yeah, it's a tough one. Like, anybody could go either way, I guess. And yeah, I think what happened afterwards kind of saved it a little bit in that aspect.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I was referring to earlier was obviously the chair attack, which occurred afterwards. And if you remember the Shield, obviously the betrayal from Seth on Roman and Ambrose. And from what I recall now, even I can't remember, but I think Seth hit Roman first.
Roman first, yeah. Actually, funny you talk about that. I was actually watching that last night on WWE's top 10 betrayals, and that was, I think, listed at 6 or something on some YouTube channel. I'm not going to mention, but but yeah, Seth hits Roman, falls onto the bottom rope, and as you can see, Ambrose's expression was just not fun at all.
No, and I love the little touch they did yesterday, actually. Seth sold it the exact same way as Roman did. If you notice, he falls head first.
Really? No, I did not notice that at all.
There you go. That was a cool little touch. I thought he sold it the exact same way. It was smart. And yeah, I thought that was a good little long-term booking. But yeah, anyway, probably the best match of the night. Put it that way.
100. I actually gave that. Now, I normally do ratings and all this stuff when it comes to stuff. I actually gave that out of 5 a 4.7.
Okay.
The way that the story was told, the match itself was just awesome. I really enjoyed that. Massive tick. Good way to start the Rumble, but again, in my eyes, it should have been the second to last match.
Yeah, I think, I'll probably, if I had to rate it, it'd be around 4.5, around there as well. And I think maybe the finish and the position on the card maybe let it down a little bit, but hey, it was still pretty good and a good way to start the show. It's a shame it didn't continue that way. Then we had, which strangely was the better Rumble out of the two. It was shit,
Yeah.
but it was better than the other one. There were a couple of bright spots, I thought. I don't know about you, but I thought it was better than the men's.
100%. I actually did not mind this one. Now, obviously, the way that WWE goes at the moment with all their spoilers and stuff, and for both Royal Rumbles, it could have been a lot more better the way that some of the ladies and the guys came out with, like, and we'll get into this later with the men's Royal Rumble. Some of the reactions until like up to 22, it was just dead. The crowd was just not invested. They were just horrible. But at least with the women's Royal Rumble, the crowd was so invested in it. And some of the legends that returned, we had Melina, we had Ivory, we had Lita, obviously. Now, Melina and Ivory obviously weren't. I'm not sure if they were actually mentioned to be in the match. So it was good to actually have them as a surprise. Who else do we have? We had Mighty Molly as well that was there. I'm not sure again if she was there, but there was a few ladies that were like, wow, it's been ages, and especially Ivory. Oh my god, how funny was Ivory when she came out?
She actually looks pretty similar that she did back in the day. I'm impressed. She done really well.
She was that was probably 2001 Ivory when she was with the Right to Censor.
Yeah,
so
I'm actually getting up to that point soon on my catch up with everything back in the day. Going back through it all.
Well, WrestleMania 17 was a very good one.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 17 2001. Guys, if you haven't seen it, make sure you go check it back out.
Yeah, go get yourself a subscription to the WWE Network. I shouldn't be plugging it because at the moment there's not much good stuff on there currently, but everything back in the day is worth watching, that's for sure. So yeah, what was it? Sasha and Melina opened.
Sasha and Melina started off the match. Now I didn't mind. I didn't mind Sasha coming out at all. She was my hot pick.
Yeah.
She was my hot favorite. I did not expect. I thought that she was going to do like a Rey Mysterio or a Shawn Michaels and go right to the end. But unfortunately, it's the Rumble. Anything can happen, obviously. But it was sad to see her go. And I do want to clarify one thing real quick, is that the legends that did come back. So we had Melina that came back. She lasted 17 seconds.
Yeah.
Ivory that came back. She lasted 27 seconds. Lita obviously lasted a little bit more. So did Michelle McCool. But some of these, I think it was good to see these girls back, but give them a little bit more time. Like Melina, if you guys didn't see, Melina was in tears before the match even started.
Yeah.
And once the match started, it didn't take long for her to get eliminated, which obviously sucked. She's obviously worked so hard to get back into the ring, and now she only lasted no more than 20 seconds in the Rumble. So, a bit disappointing with that, but
I actually think she stuffed up. I've seen all the dirt sheets yesterday. They've all come out and said she botched. She was not meant to get eliminated.
No.
You can kind of tell too. I don't know. We obviously don't know for sure. You can never really fully trust the dirt sheets, but
well, that's it.
But it did kind of look like she wasn't meant to go. I don't know. It seemed too soon for her to go out. But look, legends are legends. Some of them you don't want to give too much time to, because at the same time they're taking a lot of people's spots. But it depends. You've got to pick and choose which ones deserve more time, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree. Obviously, the legends that did come back have had their time in the spotlight. But with Ivory and Melina especially, they haven't had a spotlight in nearly 10 years, and it'd be good to give them a little bit more time in the Rumble. Just maybe like a couple minutes at least, or at least have them, survive an entrant or two before they get eliminated. But for no more than a minute, it's a bit disappointing, I reckon, on WWE's behalf to have someone in the middle of the ring before the match even started crying her eyes out to, I'm back where I am, and to only last that long was, a bit disappointing on my end. But the way that the massive difference between Melina's elimination and Ivory's elimination, I think Ivory's was more comedic for the crowd, because she was still holding the mic and yelling into the microphone as she was going over the top rope, which was hilarious. But for someone like Melina's caliber, like she she was around when Mickey and Victoria and Trish and Lita and Michelle McCool was still there. So give her that little bit more time, I reckon.
Yeah, I feel like out of all of them, she probably deserved the longest, to be honest with you. But yeah, look, we'll go into the match a little bit more just so we can pass through some time. But we had Liv Morgan.
Yep.
I've only got sort of the biggest stuff that I thought happened anyway, the stuff that really matters. There wasn't much. But Liv Morgan, she lasted quite a while. I actually thought she was going to win it. She was my tip to win it. She probably deserved it the most, I thought, based on what I've been watching the last 3 months. She's had title matches. She's had the crowd behind her. She basically had the Daniel Bryan push. Put it that way, when he had that big push. That's what's been happening the last few months. And then she got eliminated by Brie Bella, which is embarrassingly pathetic, in my opinion, from WWE. Like, yeah, sure, has been Nikki and Brie in there, but they eliminated the person. I'm pretty sure it was Liv Morgan. I swear that, yeah. They eliminated Liv Morgan, and that was really frustrating because I thought she was going to win the whole thing. And again, Vince just... you can understand why he does what he does with the decisions of booking Ronda Rousey to go to WrestleMania. But yeah, I thought Liv was a bit hard done by, personally. I don't know how much you've obviously seen of Liv yourself, but you'll probably, now that you're going to be obviously tuning in a lot more nowadays, you'll definitely get to see
100%.
more of
100%.
how good she actually is.
Hopefully, Raw, SmackDown, and every other pay-per-view in between isn't going to be like what the Royal Rumble was, thankfully.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can be honest, the last couple of years has been pretty rough. It's been hard to watch a lot of stuff.
Well, I used to always watch the Big Four, and that was Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. Yeah. I can't tell you the last time I watched a WrestleMania. Cannot tell you the last time I watched WrestleMania. Like from start to finish, not like a couple of matches here or there. I mean, like from start to finish.
Well, the one that was actually good happened to be the one that had no crowd. I actually thought it wasn't amazing. It's still shit compared to the 2001 days, but it was probably the best in a long time. I don't know why. I think the matches they put on were just a lot better. But yeah, this road to WrestleMania is looking a little bit rough. So we had Sonia Deville, who eliminated Cameron. Obviously, everybody knew the backstory of Naomi and Cameron. That was really well worked. I kind of liked it. I would have liked to have seen Naomi and Cameron have a better reunion, but I thought it was smart.
Yeah. I only got a couple of seconds on the outside when Cameron got eliminated, which sucked. Yeah. But, yeah, a bit unfortunate, but it did, they would have shared a glass of wine or something after the match, I guess.
100%, yeah. It was just very well worked. I thought that I like side stories within the Rumble, and I thought the way the last few weeks Naomi and Sonia have been feuding, and then they had the match the night before on SmackDown with Naomi picking up the win and then Sonia declaring herself into the Rumble. I thought it was a cool touch, her eliminating Cameron. It worked. It's smart. Cameron's a friend of Naomi. That was probably one of the best side story, the most logical booking from WWE. It could have probably been executed a bit better, but it could have been a lot worse. So that happened, and then obviously Sonia returned and eliminated Naomi. We won't worry about that too much. They're probably going to continue their feud as we go on.
I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. We might even see Cameron come back for a little cameo, maybe to be like her manager or something for a couple of weeks, or it maybe even if a WrestleMania match comes around, it could possibly lead into one of that, a WrestleMania match with Cameron. Possibly, spoiler, maybe, possibly even turning on Naomi just to sort of, create more of a story with that. So, yeah, the way that I reckon WWE works right now is that it wants to think that the story and then completely 180 it.
Which can be good,
we'll get a little further into that with another title match very shortly.
That is true. Well, next we had your favourite part. I think you can guess what that would be, but
Hardcore Country.
There you go. That was really.
Oh my god, the smile on my face when she came out with the Impact title. Holy shit.
Yeah, there was a lot of speculation. Will she actually bring it out? Will they mention it at all in the broadcast? And then, yeah, the music. I actually thought the championship was more of a chance than her having the song play, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I could agree with that too, because due to obviously copyright issues and whatever else, WWE doesn't own that song. But WWE being part owner or whatever with Impact, obviously they would have some sort of relationship to that song. But it was really cool to actually finally listen to that song on a WWE broadcast because
Yeah.
like when Mickey came back a few years ago to Obsession,
Hmm.
it just did not. And I think I mentioned this to you a couple of weeks ago that it just did not suit her character at the time.
No.
And for her to come out to hardcore country was something really special for her, and I think for all of her fans as well.
Yeah. No, for sure. No, I thought that was a good moment, and what I'm really happy about is she actually got a good run in the Rumble. I forget who eliminated her, but I thought she had a good run. More than I thought. I was worried that Vince was gonna totally fuck it all up and just
Yeah,
quick.
I was worried about that too with all that stuff that happened when Mickey got released
Mm.
and with the trash bag and all that stuff. So I wasn't I was sort of cringing the whole time thinking, "Oh shit, when's she going to go over? When's she going to go over?" And she stayed in probably what 20 minutes or
Yeah,
something,
about that.
20 plus minutes.
I was very impressed.
So it was a fair bit of time. So, nah. For those of you who don't know, I'm a massive Mickey James fan.
He certainly is.
Massive Mickey James fan. It got to the point where I actually wrote her a letter in high school.
There you go, Mickey. If you're somehow watching this,
Yeah.
I hope you threw it out. All right.
Check your PO box, Mickey. Fuck. It's been
Oh.
years.
Oh well, yeah, that's what happens when you're young, I guess.
Hmm.
Alrighty, moving on.
And the cool thing was, before we move on, it was, and the crazy thing is with her feud with Trish back in the early 2000s, the obsession, as you will, that was what it was like. Like it was like, I want to
Yeah.
marry this girl, you know.
As
It
everybody,
was
yeah,
crazy. So
girl,
it was,
yeah,
it kind of
yeah.
fit. It kind of fit everything perfectly.
It certainly did. No, that's fair enough. Another person that came back, Lita. She got a massive pop, which I get it. It's
She
Lita,
got
but she's come back like a few times the last couple of years for cameos and certain things, and hasn't got a big pop. That was loud. Probably the loudest pop
massive pop.
of the night
Yeah,
besides Ronda.
yeah. I don't know. I'd probably rate that in like the top 5 pops of the night, I reckon,
Yeah, definitely.
because the crowd went absolutely shit when that came out. So that was just crazy, absolutely. And that just shows you how much a character and a person does for so many people. And she worked so well during her career, and to
Yeah.
get that kind of reception, the way that she left, and to come back and obviously get that reception, just amazing, absolutely awesome. And you know what was funny? I was actually thinking, oh, I know who eliminated Mickey. It was Lita.
Lita. Oh, there you go. Oh yes, they
And
had the thing. Yep.
now when that elimination happened, I automatically went back to Survivor Series 2006,
Yeah.
where I think it was Lita's retirement match, and
Mhm.
she versed Mickey that night, and
Yep.
Mickey ended up winning.
Yep.
So maybe there could have been that sort of, you ended my career, I'm going to end your Royal Rumble run right now kind of thing.
Probably.
So
It.
maybe, could have been, possibly.
Yeah, very good shout. All right, so what we'll do, we may as well just go through what happened at the end, so we can speed through this a little bit.
Yep.
Ronda entered at number 28. At that point, we knew the result of the Royal Rumble. So the final 4 was Ronda, Charlotte, Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler. Bianca Belair, 2 years in a row, she's lasted over 40 minutes. That is pretty impressive. I thought for a second there she was going to win a back-to-back, but obviously she didn't. Ronda went on by last eliminating Charlotte to win the Royal Rumble. I don't know about you, but I have my thoughts on the whole situation. I don't like it. I like it, but I don't like it. It's hard. It's a difficult situation.
Yeah, it goes back to, I think for me, it goes back to, it's not what you can do in the ring. It's what your name is, basically. So, for me, it should have came down to Bianca and Shayna,
Yep.
easily, 100%. It should have came down to that. Charlotte is champion, so why should she even be in the match anyway?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't like it at all.
And Ronda, obviously being Ronda Rousey, it's just the name, really. And I think the elimination was a little a little crappy too.
Yeah.
The way that elimination happened I didn't like it. Just a simple throw ahead over the back, and that was it, pretty much.
No, it wasn't very good.
It could have ended a little differently. Maybe they could have lasted a little longer. Because I think after the second last elimination, it only took probably no more than 30 seconds for the match to be over after that elimination. So, again, disappointing finish. I'm sorry for people that are going to hate me for that, but
that's brutally honest.
Bit of a disappointing finish. It could have went a little longer.
I was a bit bummed about the finish as well. I don't know. I just think I understand WWE. It's money. They need to fill and sell out 100,000 seats at AT&T Stadium. I get it. They're not gonna fill AT&T Stadium with Shayna Baszler versus Bianca Belair in the main event. That's not going to happen. And the reason that's not going to happen is because they haven't spent the last year since the last WrestleMania building these stars to be big and popular. They're just going with the same two people over and over again. And then what do? 2 years of no Ronda Rousey. Oh, let's just chuck her in. You know, she's had her personal life stuff. Nothing against Ronda Rousey. I literally went to UFC Melbourne to watch her. So nothing against her.
Yeah, watch her lose.
Exactly. I didn't go to watch her. I went to watch her lose. But yeah, nothing against her. It's just, she's not a pro wrestler. Like, I get it. Either was Shayna Baszler, but Shayna Baszler took the time to actually become a pro wrestler.
Learn the craft. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
I think Bad 100%. Bunny has learnt more wrestling in the last year than Ronda has. I don't think Ronda's learned that much. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe she has. I'm sure she had some training, obviously.
I have one note here from that match, and that was no grapple moves by Ronda. You seen an armbar.
Yep.
And that was it.
Yep, that's all she does. She makes it look very UFC-like, and I don't like
it. There was a lot of stomach punching.
Yep.
But that was it. No grapple, no nothing. She just went in, started swinging, and yeah.
That's Ronda. That's literally all we get. And look, that's not against her. That's obviously what she's been told to do. She's been told not to do any of these big moves. They want it to look UFC-like, and yeah, I just don't like it. I don't know. Everyone's thinking she's obviously going on to face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, but I have a bit of breaking dirt sheet news on that a little bit later when we finish what's going on here. So we'll get to that a little bit later. I'm sure everybody viewing or anybody watching on demand or listening on Spotify probably already knows this because it was released this morning, but I may as well announce it on here in case you haven't by some odd chance. And again, it may be wrong, it may be false, but these dirt sheets, Meltzer, Sean Sapp, they're pretty trustworthy. They seem to know what's going on. So I'll mention that a little bit later. We'll move on, speaking of Becky Lynch, to the Raw Women's title match, which we had Becky against Doudrop, however anybody wants to say it. The worst name in pro wrestling, I think. The dumbest name change in history.
Probably the second worst match of the night.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
Yeah, I'd say probably second worst. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. But yeah, look, I like Doudrop in general. She is a good wrestler. She was known as Piper Niven. She was on NXT UK. She was impressive there. Everybody knows her from the indies. Or at least most people know her. But yeah, they brought her in. Eva Marie came back to main roster WWE for, what was it, half a year? I don't even know what it was. And then she got released. But she was Eva Marie's assistant, manager, whatever. And that was just embarrassing. A waste of time. So yeah, I'm glad she got the spotlight here. But when you're going to call a Doudrop and not give her any build into the match, St. Louis didn't give a shit. To be honest, we know they were a bit distracted already, but
yeah,
certain thing going on in the crowd.
And for those of you, and what Nick was just referring to there, for those of you who don't know, after the match, so obviously we know Becky. Now there wasn't really much to talk about in the match. It was just weird. But after the Women's Royal Rumble, Pyro went off in the where the WrestleMania sign is, and created a fire inside the sign, which had sparked melting and all that onto some fans.
Yep.
Thankfully, no one got seriously injured or burnt, because those signs, when they're on fire, because they're made of plastic, but they weigh so much because of how much plastic and steel and all that is holding them. Thankfully, no one got hurt, and we can say that.
Yeah.
Thank God that no one got hurt.
Yeah.
Really. So the crowd, I think, probably not even a quarter of the way in, probably even just before the start of the match. Obviously, the crowd had sort of shifted into the southern end of the grandstand and just looked and started seeing sparks falling from the Wrestlemania sign, and it was horrifying for the people that were there because they had to evacuate. What was it on? From what I seen on some sources, it was over 200 people that were underneath that sign.
Yeah.
And again, thankfully everyone got out unscathed, but it scares you when stuff like that happens. It's horrible.
It is, yeah.
And then Becky did an interview after her victory and said, and I quote, "I was on fire that much that I set the WrestleMania sign on fire."
Yep.
End quote.
Yeah, I'm glad you got that. Yeah. We didn't
Quite
know
scary
that.
stuff. Now, it's not the first time that pyro in the stands have gone wrong. You remember WrestleMania 24?
Yes, that was, I forget who's that. Was it the opening pyro?
That was the end pyro
End
for when
pyro.
The Undertaker beat Batista.
I remember it went up the top.
Or was it
two.
Edge? Who did The Undertaker verse that year? Was it Edge or Batista? I'm pretty sure it was Edge.
I'm fairly sure.
But anyway, yeah, wires had disconnected from the top rafters to the stage that had pyro links on them, and snapped and ignited inside the stands, injuring, what was it, 30 people or something. So
that, yeah.
This stuff happens, guys. It's unfortunate, but thankfully on this circumstance, everyone was okay, and everyone got to watch the rest of the pay-per-view.
Props to WWE for that, actually. They managed to get the sign lifted, extinguished, and brought down by the end of one match, which is pretty insane. That's very good.
And a disappointing, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but either when Brock and Bobby Lashley's match happened or at the end of the Men's Royal Rumble, we could hear Brock Lesnar's music happening in the background. So whether or not it was before or after his match or at the end of the Royal Rumble or whenever, there was more spotting of flames on the sign. So whether or not it had sparked again after the after something, we don't know. But yeah, it did last a little bit. But yeah, props to WWE for doing that. Obviously, with the authorities there, making sure that no one obviously got seriously injured.
Yeah.
But yeah, for them to do what they did was pretty good. But unfortunately, it wasn't the end of it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So yeah, look, we'll skip ahead. Becky Lynch won with a manhandle slam from the middle rope. Shane, as you probably didn't know, she now takes the rock bottom, and that is her finishing move, called the manhandle slam. Which look, I'm not a fan of that happening, but hey, Kevin Owens took the stunner, so people are going to keep doing it. And I guess it's not their move; it's just what they made famous. But if you want to be original, be original. Keep your Bex, Plex, and all those moves that she used to use. But yeah, look, I'm not a fan of it. So yeah, that's how the match finished. We all knew the result going into it. Dow drop, Piper Niven. I'm going to call her Piper because that's what she should be called. She was never going to win that match. So yeah, Becky retaining, and we'll talk about that later. Let's just, don't worry about Becky Lynch for now because she was never losing that match. Nothing really to talk about there. Crowd was not even interested. They were trying to be safe. Put it that way. Now we'll move on to the match that basically ruined the Men's Rumble. This match actually ruined that match. That sounds weird, but yes, this match literally ruined the Men's Royal Rumble match because it made it predictable. Speaking of ruining, on my notes here, I've actually ruined my own notes and put Brock Lesnar versus Brock Lesnar. That's how distracted I was today. How pissed off I was about how bad these bloody matches were at the Royal Rumble. So yeah, we had Brock Lesnar defending the WWE title against Bobby Lashley. This was before the Men's Rumble. Actually, there was another match after this as well, which I forgot all about. So yeah, look, I might just go through these matches, then we'll talk about them after, just to save a bit of time. So we had the match. It started slow. You obviously remember there was a lot of lockups and a lot of chasing around before Brock eventually... Brock gave Bobby a lot of German suplexes. They were pretty heavy, actually. They were slamming him on his neck that sort of thing. It was pretty full on.
The no sell was really happening too. Bobby got up after every German suplex. It was crazy to watch.
Yeah, and then towards the end, I think it was starting to hurt him a little bit legitimately. I noticed he was starting to turn on his side to prevent him from getting injured.
I noticed that as well.
Yeah, it was really strange. I don't know if he was hurting too much on the back and the neck, so he tried turning over. Perhaps. Not too sure. But the match itself was a typical big man match involving Lesnar. We've been accustomed to those. Lately, Lashley then hit one spear and a second, which sent Lesnar flying out of the ring, and then there came your big barricade spot, which again is a repeat of a lot of Lesnar and Lashley stuff we've seen the last month. He missed him and he went through the barricade. They both back into the ring. I don't know what happened in between that, I forget. All I know is then eventually Lashley got Lesnar into the hurt lock. Lesnar got out of the hurt lock by pushing Lashley into the referee behind him. That I don't know if that was meant to put the referee down initially, but the impact looked so weak, so Lesnar lifted Lashley up, F5'd him into the referee, knocked the referee down. Referees, they don't have the same amount of stamina. The magical sleeping pill for about 10 minutes. So the referee was down, F5's hit. There's your crowd fake 5 count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The crowd.
I think it went. I think it went up to at least 16. That count.
Yeah,
because you could hear the crowd. You could hear the crowd counting every time, and I'm pretty sure it went past or just on 16.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, we've got a comment from Sammy Bosco over here. She's saying, "I love this Shane guy. What a guest." So, yeah, he is very clearly a very happy guest right now. So. Thanks for the love there, Sammy Bosco. Happy birthday. All right.
Happy birthday, Sam.
We'll continue on with this. And then Reigns shows up, obviously, referee's down with his sleeping pill. Reigns shows up, spears Brock Lesnar. This is where you think, okay, he's just screwing Brock Lesnar. Reigns holds his hand out towards Paul Heyman. Here comes the fix for the whole COVID situation at day one. That was supposed to be the match. Then they had the double cross. So they had Paul Heyman go back with Brock Lesnar. He's now double turned on Brock again, back with Roman Reigns. I hope I said that all right. There's a lot of confusion when you got all 3 of these people, but I think I got it right. There's the double cross, and he hits Brock Lesnar over the head with the championship belt. And there's your 3 count, and Bobby Lashley is your new WWE champion for a second time. Which I don't know about.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah. That's
good story making.
Pretty good.
Really, really good story making by WWE with that. Just the way that they did that, 3 minutes, was probably the highlight of the match. Obviously, the cameras were obviously panned to Brock when Roman was coming to the ring, for him to deliver the spear to Brock, and then for the spot to happen with Paul turning again. Really, really good story making, and hats off to him for that, because that was awesome in my eyes.
Yeah,
really, really good.
That was very good. I really enjoyed that match. I actually thought the ending of it smart. Only problem with the match is it pretty much guaranteed the Men's Rumble winner. At that point, you didn't know when he was coming out, but you knew who the winner was going to be. We'll obviously talk about that in a moment, but it's a shame because it took away all the predictability of that match. And I have a theory that they could have avoided it. They could have come up with Bobby's challenger and then used the winner of the Rumble, obviously Brock Lesnar, to go through the Elimination Chamber or something like that. So that was a little bit disappointing, I thought anyway.
Yeah. Who would face Bobby, though, at WrestleMania?
Well,
if there was someone to face Bobby at WrestleMania, who do you reckon it would be?
I do actually have that at the end of my notes to discuss at the end, but let me have a look. I can't remember who I thought. Obviously, I'd like AJ Styles, but I don't think that's possible at the moment.
No.
Right now, Seth, with what happened, being a big fan favorite, he'd be my push to be taken on Bobby, because he's kind of he was a heel, but Seth's. But it's weird though, because now Seth's kind of turning into a face, and Bobby's a face now, so it would have to be a heel. So I don't know what route they're going to go with that.
Yeah. I actually, speaking of faces, I actually had something in my notes here that it was the babyface Royal Rumble. the whole pay-per-view, everyone was cheering except for
Yeah.
one person, and that was match 5, The Miz and Maurice.
Very good point.
Everyone that, apart from the 30-man men's Royal Rumble,
Yeah.
everyone that came out during the night got a loud pop.
Yeah.
People were bowing when Roman came out, and people were cheering when Seth came out. Pretty much everyone got a reaction in the women's Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Becky and that other chick, they got good receptions. So did Lesnar and Lashley. So everyone got really, really good pops, except for, sadly enough, Miz and Maurice.
Well, that's something that I've noticed with WWE the last 5 years that I've been watching, is the way the dirt sheets have changed and how everything's blasted on social media now, and the way that IWC works, the Internet Wrestling Community. I'm pretty sure I've got that right. That's what the IWC is. And yeah, everything now, people just cheer. People love the heels. It's weird because the heels have the freedom to do whatever they want. They can have character freedom, and people love it. People love it now that Roman is an asshole because his work is good.
Yeah.
Everything that's good in WWE revolves around Roman Reigns right now. Everyone hated him.
Yeah.
He was winning everything. Oh, fuck Roman, fuck this. Now, we all love him. I think he's the best. He is the best character in WWE right now.
I could agree with that. 100%, easy, hands down. You look at all the big heels that have been in the industry.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if this would be classified, but Cena, mixed reaction wherever he went in the world, regardless if it was down here in Australia or if it was in the States or if it's in Canada or wherever, always mixed reactions. We had The Rock always getting mixed reactions. We had Austin always getting mixed reactions. Shawn, Brett, a lot of people got mixed reactions. And the way that they're taking Roman now, because obviously a few years ago everyone hated Roman because we all knew that he was getting the push that somewhat he didn't deserve. But God, he's earned it so big this time, and hats off to him. So
the heel turn,
he's doing really well. He's doing really well.
It's good to see. So yeah, look, we'll move on to the next match, which was Miz and Maurice versus Beth and Edge. Filler match. We knew what was probably going to happen here. I actually thought Miz and Maurice were going to win to set up the WrestleMania match, but it didn't happen. So yeah, they went with the, I think, storyline ending result, which was Edge and Beth hitting double glam slam for the win, which was a cool touch. I thought that was pretty cool. They both hit Beth.
That was cool. It was good to see Edge do something out of his repertoire as well.
Yeah, that's a little bit different. No,
he looked so uncoordinated when he done that move too. Beth did it like a pro, and he was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, I thought Beth's attire was pretty good as well. She had a nod on her face paint thing, kind of on the side. I forget who the nod was to. I saw something today. I didn't write it down, but it was a nod to somebody else that's wrestled previously. I'm pretty sure. I'll have a look at that once we go off air. But yeah, I'll send you the link to that. I might even pop it in the description if I can find it. We'll leave that match. It was Edge and Beth winning. That was always going to happen. So we'll move on to the one that
pretty much
at a time.
Yeah.
And that's the worst match, in my opinion, of the night. Actually, worse than
Beth.
I think worse than the tag team match. This was boring. I don't know. It was predictable. We knew who was winning. Okay, we didn't know for sure, but you were 99% sure after the result of the WWE title match. But yeah, I don't know. I was just disappointed. So we had AJ and Nakamura starting at 1 and 2. What did you think of the two people that started? Did you like it?
I didn't mind it. It was really good. I didn't mind it at all. Probably apart from some certain Missouri resident that came in, they were probably the biggest pop of the night. Sorry, not for the night, for the Royal Rumble itself. Easily, hands down, biggest pop for the match.
I'd have to agree. I think, obviously when AJ came in, there was the big match with Nakamura at WrestleMania, which, I thought that was a smart way to open. There's a lot of different things I would have done. To be honest, what I would have done I probably would have taken away someone's spot that didn't deserve it. I don't know. I can't even think of who didn't deserve a spot at this point because there were so many undeserving spots. But there was too many tag teams in the Rumble. They could have taken a tag team out. They could have brought up LA Knight from NXT, who was Eli Drake in Impact Wrestling. Him and AJ Styles had a good old... They were friends and rivals from back in Impact. That would have been smart. If they brought him up, had a little showdown there. Just small things like that. Like, I don't know, him coming out second, AJ coming out first. Little side stories like that would have made a lot more sense because LA Knight, I'm going to start calling him LA Drake now, but LA Knight, he's actually currently wrestling. Like, it makes sense. Bring him in. Have them two go at it at the start of the Rumble and then boot him up to the main roster. Like, getting involved. You just need more talent. There's not enough talent on the main roster. So I thought that was a way they could have fixed the opening.
100%, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more there. And then we had, who was it, Austin Theory come out at 3, which for me, Austin, looking at his previous film and whatever else before tonight's podcast, God, he's got some talent, that kid. It really, really does. He's got amazing talent. He reminds me of a younger AJ Styles when he sort of first started in some sense. And again, the crowd just not caring, not investing. And until, what was it? Probably around entrant 25. That's when, the big names started coming out. Even Sheamus didn't get a good reaction.
No.
Like, he sort of got a couple of cheers here and there. But for some people, like Austin, who didn't get the reception that I was expecting them to get, is, again, very disappointing.
Yeah, no, I was very disappointed because I actually thought Austin might win it. What they were doing with Vince lately, like, nobody gets the rub of Vince McMahon on TV. The last 4 weeks, Vince has been on Raw having promos with Austin Theory, which is unheard of. That's Drew McIntyre-esque when Drew and Vince had that chosen one thing back in the day. That went down to shit.
There you go.
But yeah, I think he's going to get a push. I just don't know when or where, and I hope he does because he's talented. So there's a lot of entrants since then. I'm just going to go through the main stuff so we can push through it. The next main thing that happened, you've probably got the whole list of entrants. I don't. I have a rough idea.
I couldn't keep up.
Obviously, we had Omos, the big guy, the great Carly of the current day, come out. And then we had the brains of Otis from the Alpha Academy. Smart. Let's gang up on this guy. And they got rid of him. So that's how Omos got out. Johnny Knoxville's run was short, as expected, but it was pretty funny. I still think it was a wasted spot in the Rumble, but they had 2 celebrities.
Yeah, 100%.
One's enough, and I think I prefer the other celebrity. And here comes Samantha with the Great Carly. I don't know what she was trying to say, but she said Great Carly Mai. I know that was her favourite. I'm kidding. That's, by the way, a joke. There you go. Great Carly, my mate. So, in terms of Johnny Knoxville, it was short, but I would have rather one celebrity, in my opinion, anyway.
A bit of interesting fact, guys, before we continue on. I don't know if anyone remembers, but there have obviously been a lot of celebrities in the Royal Rumble, right? We've had Shaquille O'Neal, and we've had, a lot of people in there and whatever else. The person that holds the record for the most time spent in a Royal Rumble by a celebrity was Drew Carey.
Yes.
Drew Carey, out of all people. And this is like big hamburger Drew Carey too, not skinny, I'm really old Drew Carey, like what he is now. I'm talking like 6 cheeseburgers a night Drew Carey.
Me, Drew Carey.
And he got eliminated by Kane. And I think that was the year that Kane went on to get his 13 record for eliminations. I think. I can't remember. But yeah, Johnny Dog, it was funny. A bit of comedic spot. Again, it was just like Ivory. Ivory was the comedic spot in the Women's Royal Rumble, and so was Johnny. So Johnny, hats off to him. I'll tell you what, it takes a lot of balls to get in that ring.
Those elbows on Styles, they were freaking heavy. I don't know if you saw, but that was some stiff forearms. And Styles was surprised. He jumped back. That was all right. Look, it was pretty good. I don't mind it too much because it's only brief. But yeah, I would rather a couple of celebrities and then less tag teams to give more single superstars a chance. Yeah. Because then you get a bit of fun, but you also get people that deserve a chance as well.
Or maybe even have a couple of surprise entrants that haven't even been announced yet.
Yeah, there was too many already announced. So yeah, there was obviously Tommaso Ciampa. I don't know if you know too much about NXT. You obviously probably haven't watched much NXT. I don't know. The last 4 years.
Not at all.
Was the best thing in WWE for like 3 years, maybe 4 years. It was the best thing until Vince has come along and ruined it. So we had no Tommaso Ciampa or Bron Breakker, which is Rick Steiner's son, just so you know.
Ricky boy.
He is the NXT champion already. But yeah, I was surprised those two didn't get a run in the Rumble itself. And then, like I said, I had the note here for LA Knight, who probably could have been used as well. Kevin Owens had a good showing. I would have liked to have seen him win it, but Vince doesn't like people that aren't Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley, people like that. So yeah, and he was stupidly, and I'll get to this later. This is another surprise I have for a little bit later. But Shane McMahon eliminated him. And I don't mean about him being in the Rumble. There's more to that story coming up. But yeah, Shane eliminated Kevin, which pissed the shit out of me. Like, that pissed me off.
I didn't like Shane being in the Rumble. I did not like. I even said to Vince, I said I don't want to go, and he's like, no, I'm playing. Here comes the money right now, and you're going.
The story later, you'll probably be even more angry about him being in the Rumble. Actually, you know what? I've got the story now. I didn't realize I had it brought up this early, probably because I was just talking about him. But breaking news from today, Shane McMahon actually he was made the producer of the Royal Rumble match, the men's match. And yet he put himself in it to be in the Final Four. This is just news coming out of backstage. And apparently a lot of unnamed stars, no names, are really pissed off. And there was a lot of backstage heat throughout today. American time.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, of course. Of course it would have been. Because, as you said before, there could have been a hell of a lot more people that should have deserved those spots than to have, Johnny Knoxville and Shane McMahon being in there. It's just stupid booking on their behalf.
Stupid booking. It is literally, and it was himself, apparently, anyway. So, yeah, that's what makes it more annoying, is he put himself in the Final Four. Which, by the way, were Shane McMahon, Riddle, Lesnar, and Drew McIntyre. We had Bad Bunny before that. I'm super impressed with Bad Bunny. You know what? For a guy
so was I.
He's
oh my god!
Good. That was a good celebrity appearance, I thought, and that's his second appearance.
Dude, he was amazing.
Yeah. Well, he appeared at Wrestlemania last year.
Absolutely incredible.
He had a match, and he was good. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know your thoughts, but I thought he was really good.
Is he a full-time wrestler, or is he just a celeb rapper dude that's just come in and knows how to hurricane runner the shit out of everybody?
He is a singer, like a Puerto Rican singer. I don't know what.
Right.
I think it's kind of like rap hip hop kind of thing. I really like the music. It's not bad. But yeah, he's very famous, like billions of followers and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, he came back. He had a match last year. Actually, he performed at last year's Royal Rumble, but it was just a performance. And then he had a match at WrestleMania in a tag team match, and he was outstanding. That's why
give him a title shot.
I actually already said it. When WWE 2K22 comes out, I am going to make him, and I am going to give him a world title run in my universe mode. Mark my words, everybody.
Well, you probably won't need to make him because there'll be someone on my community that will probably end up doing it for you.
Mark my words, on this channel, he's going to be on this channel in a micro. You'll see him pop up somewhere. Spoiler alert.
Awesome. We can't wait for that.
Just come in with a comment saying, bring the Hurricane back. He was back the last couple of years, actually, I think.
Shane Helms.
Yeah.
Oh, Shane Helms.
Bad Bunny was the 24/7 champion for a little bit, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, no, I actually kind of like his music, and I thought his appearance was good. So we'll go to the Final Four. We know what happened. Like we said, number 30, spoiler alert, Brock Lesnar comes out. Right there, that's exactly it. He comes out.
Oh god!
And they had a bit
it
of
was so yeah. As you were saying during the actual pay per view, like even after Poppy's match, we were talking, and it was so predictable. And again, that's mainly one of the reasons why I stopped watching, is because everything was getting too predictable, and I thought that it was taking a different direction. Yeah. But it's just the same shit as what I left on.
That is exactly correct. So we had a bit of a nod to the 2020 Royal Rumble, the one that Drew McIntyre did win, which was Lesnar eliminating him, because in that Royal Rumble, was it 2020? I think, 2020, which was just before the pandemic started, the start of the year. We had Lesnar, who came in at number 1 and eliminated 13 or something people in a row. And then you had Drew McIntyre come out, Ricochet low-blowed Lesnar, and then McIntyre claymored him and eliminated him. So that was a good nod back, I guess. Stupid that it was predictable, but then Lesnar eliminating McIntyre was a little bit of a throwback to that, and getting a bit of revenge, I guess.
And again, somewhat good storytelling, but as we've been saying, anyone could have had that opportunity And you know, I don't dislike Brock.
Mm-hmm.
I think what he has done in his whole career, from starting back in 2001 or whatever till now, he's an absolutely phenomenal athlete. Don't get me wrong, but he's the spotlight is starting to slowly shine away from him. Hopefully, in my eyes, it's starting to slowly shine away from him because he's turning into not necessarily a John Cena, but it's heading that way where he keeps getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity where it could possibly go to someone else.
Yeah, that is pretty spot on, actually. Look, I'll always be a Lesnar fan. Me and Samantha were there when he made his return in 2012 at Raw, obviously the night after WrestleMania, so he'll always have a soft spot in my heart. That's where, I don't know if you know Brock Lesnar guy, the guy that does that thing who was on camera and now he's all over Twitter. Him, he's really cool.
I remember that dude.
I follow him and everything. It's really cool. Good to see them. It's good to see him from that has gone on, and now he goes to like every show. It's pretty cool. But yeah,
and he gets invited to the training center down in Florida. Is it the training center down in Florida?
I remember he got invited to the performance center, and there was a pretty funny segment in there. That was really cool. You're right.
Overall, my pay-per-view rating out of 10 is a 5.5.
I'll be lucky to give it a 5.5. I haven't rated anything, but to be honest, if it was me, I'd probably give it a 3 or a 4.
I think what saved the pay-per-view is Roman and Seth's match. If that match was not on the card and the way it planned out, it would have been an absolute snooze fest.
Yeah, I'm probably leaning towards a 4, just because I actually thought Becky and Dowd dropped the match itself wasn't that bad. It's a shame it got ruined by the crowd and stuff. But yeah, it probably would have been a 3 or a 2 if that wasn't even half decent, or if the first match was shit. Then yeah, it probably would have been even worse. So yeah,
100%.
Definitely no more than a 5.
And like we said at the start of the broadcast, every match when you go back and have a look at the match card, every match had a WrestleMania hype to it. It was a match, like there was backstories to every single match, which you don't normally see these days. It's just a couple weeks and then we'll throw you in a pay-per-view. All these matches had some sort of
lead up,
connection from ages ago or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately for me, 5.5 rating, and again, without that first match, it would have not even been that. It would have been lower.
For sure. All right, so we're getting close to the end of the first episode, everybody. We are going to do a little bit of a segment, which we'll do at the end of every review, and that is some takeaways from the Royal Rumble, what's there for the future, and there's, like that little bit of a surprise that I had in here, which is more or less about what I was talking about. I'll get to it eventually. So we'll go, basically, I just want to go over all the champions and what we think their future is going to be. So first we've got Alpha Academy, who are the tag team champions on Monday Night Raw. That's Otis and Chad Gable. I don't know if you remember, but Chad Gable was the guy that came in there with the brains to eliminate Omos, the big guy. They're the Raw Tag Team Champions. Wondering who's going to challenge them. They're still in a feud, and I think it's pretty obvious it's going to be RK Bro, Randy Orton and Riddle. I think those two will be the ones that take them on at WrestleMania. I don't know what kind of match it'll be. Maybe they might end that feud a little bit earlier, but time will tell, I guess, on that. But that's what I personally think. Do you think anybody else could challenge them based on what you've seen and the teams that you saw in the Rumble?
Not necessarily. I think if you're going to talk hyping up a match and whatever else, main event caliber sort of hype, I'm talking.
Yeah.
Randy Orton and Riddle, 100%.
It looks that way. It is the current feud, so I can't see them going any other way. But we know Vince likes to make last-second changes, so let's not get too carried away.
Who knows? They could be facing the Dudley Boys in a couple of weeks. We don't know.
You're not wrong.
Just because Vince wants to.
Exactly. That is definitely right. Speaking of tag team champions, we go to the SmackDown tag team champions, which are the Usos. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they weren't in the Rumble, were they?
No. They weren't even. From what I seen, they were Not even backstage.
Yeah, because they were banned from ringside. I know that was the thing going into the Roman thing because they're Roman's bloodline. They're his teammates. But, yeah, they weren't even in a match. Like, I know they were banned from ringside there, but I thought they would have thrown them in the Rumble, which was a bit surprising. Anyway, they're tag team champions. They're my favourite tag team in WWE, personally, at the moment. Always, probably have been the last 5 years. I don't know who's going to challenge them. They don't really have a feud going on at the moment, from what I can remember, from what I even care about on SmackDown. But maybe the Mysterios is a maybe. I'm hoping they do a multi-man match. This is my personal WrestleMania dream, and that is the Raw and SmackDown championships get combined again. There's not enough teams on both brands to make the tag team division interesting. So
100%. I totally agree with that.
yeah, something big.
And that also goes for, like, I know that there's a lot of girls now that wrestle, obviously, in the ring and whatever else, but I think having one women's title to make it more interesting and have like a ranking system or something for them, I don't know, do something. But yeah, go back to one one women's title, one tag team title. You have your Intercontinental and US on either show. And then obviously your two big heavyweight champions on either show as well. But yeah, please go back to one tag team title. It's just not, it's not worth having two, because like you said, there's just so many and you can't keep up sometimes.
No, that's exactly it. Look, I'm hoping we go Usos, RK Bro, and maybe the Alpha Academy, maybe a triple threat to unify them in a ladder match. Maybe let's go classic. Edge, Christian, Dudley's, Hardy's.
Oh yes, please. That'd be so good.
We'll see what happens there. That's what I think might happen. I don't know about you, but yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. Is hoping for a unification. And we got Damien Priest, who's the current United States champion. Pretty sure he was in the Rumble. Yes, he was. It was pretty early in the Rumble.
Yes.
So he's the US champion. Again, multi-man match might be the best way to go, unless they can actually find somebody to build a story around, which. The stories are just too PG nowadays. I hope they can do something AEW-like, something good. I just don't get it. You've got a US champion who's good. Damien Priest is talented. You've got the likes on Raw, I think Finn Balor, who's nowhere to be found. We don't even know what brand he's on right now. Kevin Owens, he'd be a good challenger. I'm hoping triple threat, maybe the three of them. Priest. You know what? Throw AJ Styles in and make it a fatal four-way. Priest, Styles, Balor, Kevin Owens. There you go. You got a beautiful WrestleMania match right there. If you want to go,
that's somewhat main event caliber as well. Like that's what you just said is really, really, really big match in that sense.
Yeah.
But you know, like, and this is the same for the Intercontinental title. Those two championships have just completely. They don't mean anything anymore, and I think. Going back a few years ago when The Miz was on that talk show when Daniel Bryan and Renee was hosting, and Miz said something about the Intercontinental title, about it not being irrelevant to the show anymore. I think that's just what the US title is and the Intercontinental title is right now. They're just irrelevant, and there's no good story around those titles anymore. Like the Intercontinental title's been around since bloody the 60s or something, or even earlier maybe, and it's one of the most pristine titles in the industry. So you gotta have those big stories, even if they don't somewhat meet main event caliber, but you gotta have some story or something around it. But for me, for the US title, what you just said would actually be a really, really good turnaround if that ended up happening.
Yeah, I think it would work. And then you got Nakamura as well. You could give Sami Zayn a shot being a heel, maybe at Nakamura, but we have seen that before. What I would do is I would turn Ricochet heel. This is me personally, and get him chasing Nakamura for the Intercontinental title. So that's for that.
Maybe even Austin Theory for the Intercontinental title.
Actually, yes, he's on Raw, but it's a good shout. I wouldn't mind moving him over to SmackDown and giving him a shot. That is a very good thought. You know what? Keep that in mind. We'll go back and we'll see if you got that right, because that's a good shout. Maybe US.
And being Vince's little student under the table kind of thing, that could be somewhat a very good match between Nakamura and Austin.
Yeah, I would like to see that. Here we go. The rumor, the thing that came out today. Everybody was expecting. Okay, you know what? Obviously, Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. It's the big main event. Well, The dirt sheets are saying it's pretty much guaranteed right now that it's Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte at WrestleMania.
Why?
Which now leaves who faces Becky Lynch. What I would do is Becky versus Sasha versus Bayley. Good old NXT vibes. That's what I would do personally if you're going to go the Ronda Charlotte route. That's my opinion. I don't know about you, but who would you have face Becky Lynch?
Again, there's so many good. I can't even speak English. That's how good this is. There's so much good talent on the roster, and they're just being rubbishly used. I don't even know if that's a word. Can someone Google it, please?
Where's Oscar?
So, Sasha, Bayley, and Becky, possibly. Becky, Shayna, and Belair, and maybe Sasha as well. A fatal four-way for the title. That could be a good main event. That's a main event caliber match right there. Easy done.
Asuka, who's nowhere to be found as well. I don't know what's happened to Asuka.
Yeah, I haven't seen. Where is she? Is she injured or something? Or
injured, possibly not used. Not sure. I haven't seen her in a while. Very strange. But yeah, I'm glad you brought up.
So yeah, there's some good possibilities for that. It's just the same with the US and Intercontinental title. So many possibilities, but it just feels like at the moment what they do is that they put everyone's name in a hat, and whatever name that they pick out, that's who they're going to face, and that's pretty much it. There's no built up stories or anything. If maybe they did like a fatal four way for that, or triple threat or something to face Becky, that would be again main event caliber match. But you just don't see it happening the way everything's going at the moment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, so we've got Lesnar versus Reigns. That's obvious. Don't even have to talk about that. Seth Rollins, we spoke about it earlier. That's my guess. Seth versus Bobby. I don't know. Who do you reckon might face Bobby for the title? Apparently they don't know. Apparently, knowing Vince, they won't know until 1 week before.
1 week before Mania, or 1 week before
Mania? That's Vince.
Oh no, you can't.
That's Vince.
You can't have a heavyweight title match 1 week. 1 week build up. That's just. Now I understand why Austin left when he had to verse Brock at the King of the Ring.
Look, maybe we'll leave this for discussion another time if you want, if you're not sure at the moment. But
that's mind blowing. I would not know at all. For someone to face Bobby, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And then there's one more thing you don't really know about him, but there's been vignettes been playing on Monday Night Raw for the last 2 months. I think could be 3 months. If people want to correct me, of a guy named Veer Mahaan. You've probably seen the memes all over the internet. Maybe you might want to go check them out. But the promo graphic has been saying Veer Mahaan coming soon, or something like that. I think coming soon for about 3 months. And then there's memes.
Why does his name sound familiar?
It's a new name. It's a new made-up name for somebody that I can't remember what his old name was. I don't even remember. He's not. I
think I may have seen his name on Twitter or something yesterday during the Rumble. I don't know. He might have tweeted something out or some shit. I can't remember.
So I don't know what they're going to do with him. Is he just going to get fired and forget about him, or is he going to show up? So just putting that out there, he might show up sometime and throw WrestleMania plans out the window, which would suck really bad because I don't think he is going to be in any WrestleMania match. I don't want him on there at all, but he might get a pop just for the sake of these memes, maybe.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what happens. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, I think you'll love it. Check out Raw tomorrow, or at least watch some highlights. I don't watch the whole thing anymore. It's a piece of shit most of the time. But obviously we'll be reviewing it same time tomorrow. I believe I will definitely be here. Not sure. Shane, will you be joining us again tomorrow? 6:15, 5:15.
We'll see. It all depends on if we go live on Twitch or not. So I did say earlier that I will be, so we'll just go with that at the moment. But obviously, if stuff changes, then
absolutely,
we'll go from there.
These episodes will be obviously they'll be announced, but there could be some late changes as always, and we'll be having some more special guests in the future, but we'll touch on that as time goes on. No, not special in terms of you'll probably know who they are, but if you do follow our gaming streams, you certainly will. Put it that way.
100%.
Speaking of gaming streams, you can see the socials on your screen if you are watching live or on demand on YouTube at SplashyWindow92, and he'll be streaming possibly tomorrow. And then he'll be streaming a lot of cricket, a lot of Fortnite, a lot of Rocket League, a lot of everything, pretty much.
A lot of
so make
stuff.
sure you do.
A lot of Among Us. A lot of everything.
Among
Whatever's
Us.
in the PlayStation at the time, that's what we'll do.
Absolutely. So make sure you do go and check out his stuff. You can follow us, both of us, on this channel at Real Cheap Pop, and then you've got obviously the YouTube channel, and this will be on Spotify as well. The audio will be live tomorrow morning on Spotify, so make sure you go and have a listen to that. And yeah, we'll make sure we do that in the future as well. We'll have them on every episode, and then yeah, so we'll have Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. One of us, it might be both of us, I might be reviewing it, but we'll have a look at that. We've got Dynamite on Wednesday, and then SmackDown on Saturday. So we're going to try and make it a weekly thing. All the support you guys give will definitely determine on how much that goes ahead. And yeah, so we do appreciate you all tuning in. Shane, thank you so much for your assistance today and your opinion on
My pleasure, my friend. My pleasure.
Well.
It was absolutely fun. I've been nervous all day actually doing this, but then I thought, once I start talking, because I'm used to being in front of a camera with the vlog channel before with V8s with Shane and all that on YouTube and doing vlogs and whatever else and doing Twitch. So once I actually started talking, it was pretty much a breeze. But thank you, Nick, for the invite. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. And guys, I hope you enjoyed yourselves too. If you did, make sure you smash that like button.
Yes.
And subscribe for more.
Subscribe. Absolutely. No, we'll definitely be here again in the future. Alright, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next review. Peace out.
Bye.
All right, there you go.
That was good.
We are off air.